But Kitamura was going even faster, or is even going faster in these final 10 kilometers uphill. And he's showing once again his true warrior spirit, Hisashi Kitamura. The question is, has he left it too late? And that is actually what I fear a little bit. But let's see. I think they're about 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers out, but it's mostly uphill, not what you see here in front. That's a downhill. But before that, it's mostly uphill and quite steep, as you can see there. And then, of course, they take this famous left turn that leads to the resort. And there we have the arch, the Borneo TMBT arch. So that's the finish, and the finish is also uphill. So Campbell will have to push until the very last meter of this championship race, which in the end became 80 kilometers due to two considerable reroutes that were necessary earlier this morning because of the heavy rain that fell upon this part of Sabah in the final days, and also still this morning. So these decisions were made. So there were some reroutes that also led to some confusion with a few runners, especially those from Nepal. Unfortunately, we're still going to have some cars maybe here. This would not be ideal if there's indeed a sprint with two next to each other. Of course, it takes place on public roads, we know, but hopefully they leave some space for the two runners and that we don't have an accident, because that would be silly at this point. So, Jeff Campbell took the lead in aid station 4 in a long downhill, and there was a long road section also, and that was playing into his favor, of course. Jeff Campbell, one of the fastest marathon runners, just like Hisashi Kitamura in the traditional Asia Trailmaster field. For those who don't know Jeff Campbell, he's originally from Canada, has been living in Hong Kong for almost a decade, so he's running for Team Hong Kong. He's in the meantime 40 plus. He was the best runner, I can say, in Hong Kong over the short distance for many, many years. But in the last 2 years, since COVID, we can say, he has actually been focusing more and more on longer ultras. And you can see that also on Club Strava. So they should be coming close. We just saw Siriporn Lumatong from Thailand passing by. She has started her last loop of 28 kilometers. So that is also ongoing, of course. It will be ongoing still for many hours.
Hello.
So the two runners are coming. Two runners coming.
Coming here.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So you need to be careful.
This morning, the 2%.
It doesn't matter who. It's if two runners sprinting down the hill and there's a car coming, you will have an accident.
Oh.
Okay, so I just had to make some comment to one of the marshals. They're doing a good job. I mean, it's a long day for them as well, and it's quite cold here, especially for them. It's been a very atypical Borneo TMBT today here in Sabah, Malaysia. Cool weather, rainy in the start, very wet, very muddy, very slippery. And still we have the two fastest runners in the field, based on marathon time, who are going to contest the victory. And Arnie Macaneras is also one of those, actually. And Macaneras has been very strong, and it looked like he was going to be the challenger of Campbell now in the final 10 kilometers, but it seems that he pushed a little bit too hard, and Kitamura came from behind, and we are expecting Jeff Campbell and Hisashi Kitamura to come first. Kitamura can just pick up another second place here in TMBT. It would be his fourth. And they keep letting cars through. That is not ideal. There's two runners coming. They're going to sprint. So let's really hope that there's no accident here. That would be such a pity. It has already been eventful today because of the bad weather in the morning and the reroutes, like I mentioned. So Team Nepal has struggled a bit with the reroutes. Some of the runners did not download also the GPX file, were not really paying attention to the marking signs that they had to follow. So they have been dropping down the leaderboard, and as such, Team Philippines is in a good position to become team champion again. That is definitely not yet concluded though. So also Malaysia is going quite well, at least the men. And Nepal, the women, of course. Priya Rai is leading the women's race comfortably. Vanya Knops is in second. Rashida Tamang is in third, but she's being chased by Loi Lung from Vietnam. So that is definitely not done yet. And then we have the Hang Si-yu Jiang Si-yu from South Korea. Very strong performance today. It looked like she was dropping down like a stone halfway through the race, on the leaderboard I mean. But she has picked the pace up again, and she is, very solid, smiling in, what was it, 5th or 6th place. And at any moment now we can have these two runners. Well, maybe it will be Jeff Campbell by himself still. Like I said, I do believe that Hisashi Kitamura left it a little bit too late. His attack on Campbell. Question, of course, is how was he aware how far he is behind? But Kitamura plays with fire. We have Klaus Pedersen now standing next to me, so event director of TMBT for many years.
I just have to ask the big boss to be hand out the medals when they come in.
That would be nice, yeah.
Can do.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you don't
Klaus,
wanna do
what
it,
is
I can do
your
it for you.
feeling now? Is it going to be Campbell or Kitamura?
Well, they seem to go in like this, but I still think Campbell will make it. But
Yeah.
let's see.
It's also my
They don't
feeling.
quite update all the times. It's a little bit hard to see exactly who's actually.
While we wait until Jeff and or Hisashi come around the corner.
Yes, exactly.
How has it been today? It's been very challenging this edition of TMBT, right?
The whole lead up has been very challenging because of the weather. So whatever we put up on the course blows down again. So it's been day and night for a few days, but at least today it's clear and it's quite good weather for racing. Not too hot and not too much rain. So
Exactly. We had a very heavy rain before the start, but then at the start it was actually it stopped.
Good,
It stopped. Yeah.
So I think I'll be excited to go and see the trails also because 1,600 people coming through on some of those trails. They must be a little bit muddy now.
But TMBT has really become a classic on the calendar, right, over the years. I mean, Alessandro Sherpa, for example, and there's Jeff Campbell, so we have to interrupt.
Okay.
So Jeff Campbell is going to become the new Asia Trailmaster champion. That is not a gap that Hisashi Kitamura can still bridge, I would think, but Campbell is really struggling indeed. So that's what we were thinking. He had a big gap, relatively big gap at some point. And that's why Macaneras first and Kitamura were coming very close, but he's going to make it. Jeff Campbell, after 8 ATM race wins, he's finally going to become the Asia Trailmaster champion from Hong Kong. Second Hong Kong winner after John Ellis in 2019 with the famous Dutch headband. I can see his trademark. Well done, Jeff. Stay on the left here. Here we go. Jeff Campbell, the 2024 Asia Trailmaster champion.
Representing Hong Kong. Congratulations and well done to Jeff Campbell, the winner for ATM 2024.
Getting the ATM finisher medal.
Well done.
Well done, Jeff.
He conquered.
We'll give you a few moments, of course, before we have a little talk. And like I said, we should be seeing the second placed runner very soon, Hisashi Kitamura, unless Arnie Macaneras still had the final dig in his arsenal to still challenge Kitamura for the second place. In any case, those three runners performed incredibly well. It was a real race going on, and for example, John Ray Onifa called it a day 28 kilometers ago at aid station 6.
Amazing. Well done, sir. Well done.
This has been a long way coming for Jeff Campbell,
Good job, mate.
but there were signs already in Singapore by beating Onifa on the 50k. We're going to leave you a few moments because Hisashi is coming.
I'm sure he is.
Did you know he was on your tail?
Yeah, I saw him at the last CP. I was broken in the last 20k. Absolutely broken, overheated, leg shot. It was just grinding it out in the least sort of aesthetically pleasing form of trail running. Just, oh man.
Got it done, mate.
So you got it done
Got it
finally.
done.
Exactly. Cheers, Jeff. We'll come back in a few minutes. Yeah.
Could I get you a drink or anything? Do you want some 100 plus or?
All right, so Jeff Campbell giving a few moments. We know he likes to have a few moments before he has a real
3
interview.
or 4 years you can.
This is Scott Pugh, of course, from the Endurance Asia podcast. You can listen to the preview we had earlier this week on all the podcast channels. So, and in the end, there is Hisashi. Voila. So it's going to be like 2-3 minutes at the end of the day, but he's going to be second again, Hisashi Kitamura.
ATM final.
For the fourth time, second in Borneo TMBT. But this time he was really pushing in those last 10 kilometers where usually he's actually struggling. So his training paid off, but he left it a little bit too late. And I'm not sure what the gap is, but it will not be more than 3 minutes, I don't think. So a fantastic run once again by Hisashi Kitamura, the karate kid from Japan.
Hisashi.
How much difference?
I think about 2 minutes and a half. And that you were half an hour behind at some point.
Yeah.
So you left it a little bit too late.
Yeah. I said I did the 30,000 treadmill elevation every month for this last 10 kilometers.
Here's John Rayoni for the outgoing champion. So Jeff Campbell, the new champion.
2 minutes.
It's of course very harsh for Hisashi. But as I said earlier this morning, he was probably leaving the gap a bit too big today. But at the same time, his strategy paid off because he's never finished TMBT so strong.
Skin on the teeth. Just.
Jeff, are you okay to say a few words? Or you still need a breather?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. So we saw you at aid station 4. You were still in 4th place, but you were very close to, at that time, Arnie Macaneras, one of the Nepalese runners.
Yeah.
And then we suddenly saw you in the front.
Yeah. I mean, I had some trouble in the first sort of 20K. Took a few nasty falls, have a big old bump on the shin, and I was just sort of slipping and sliding. It's not my specialty. And then once we got onto that road, it was just feeling really nice. Wasn't trying to push too hard, but I was able to just build a gap, and
it was a substantial gap when you came
yeah,
here.
and I knew that the gap was getting big. I had no idea where Hisashi was. I thought he was probably, him and Stingray were the two strongest runners in the field today. I would have just been at the podium. I would have been thrilled with the podium. It was the strongest field that I've ever raced in Asia, period. And then felt okay coming in past this CP for the last sort of 27K loop, but right after that started to fall apart, got overheated, had to lie down in one of the streams to cool down, had to get ice at the checkpoints, muscles started to go, I was walking in almost everything, and I was just waiting to get caught up. I thought it was just a matter of when.
You just mentioned that you actually saw Kitamura coming at the very end, but did you realize that Macaneras was at some point very, very close to you as well?
I think it was Macaneras. I think it was Arnie actually that I saw. And then you must have passed Arnie.
Last 2K.
Yeah.
2K and I passed him, so he's coming now.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, this is what happens when you have such strong runners in the field. You like, there's just no room for error. And I almost lost it. I wouldn't have felt bad about it. I gave it my all, but it came down to less, a couple hundred meters.
It's the Asia Trail Master Championship. It's not supposed to be easy, I would say. But congratulations with a fantastic performance, Jeff. You took the bull by the horns as well, because it was still a long way to go, but you just made it, and you're a well-deserved champion. Like I said, already 9 race wins for many years, since the beginning of 2018 Tahura Trail in Bandung, and now finally get the title. So well done, congratulations.
Well done, Jeff. Amazing.
Maybe a quick word still with Hisashi while we await Arnie Macaneras' 3rd place. Hisashi, so during the live streams we were thinking that you were leaving it a little bit too late, that in the beginning of the race you let a too big gap to the front runners.
Yeah, because I set my pace exactly so that I maintain my pace, so I didn't so worry about it because the front guy is too fast. And around 50K and I already started the race. But front is a 10 minutes gap. So at the last checkpoint still have many gaps. But I pushed myself to last uphill. Because I trained very hard for the uphill. So I never walked. ran through. So I think the last checkpoint, the gap was 20 minutes.
Yes, correct.
But I pushed
Yeah.
to the
Well
end.
done, Hisashi. We're going to briefly check with Arnie, who is just coming to the finish. Well done, of course. We'll be back with you a bit later. And here's Arnie Macaneras. This is a very strong result from him. He had a fantastic race. The 2022 Asia Trail Master Champion is now the second runner-up, third place.
2 kilometers.
Overtaken by Kitamura in the last 2 kilometers for second place.
Cramps, kui.
Cramps. Well done, Arnie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you realize how close you were in the last 5-6 kilometers to Jeff Campbell?
Yeah,
What happened
But-
then? Cramps?
and the last uphill, finish line, going finish line, so I have a problem. I starting from my knee so that I can run. So I just walk, going to finish line. Yeah.
So you had no response anymore also to Hisashi when he came.
Yeah.
Were you afraid that you might still lose third place as well then? Were you afraid that somebody else might still come?
Yes.
Yeah.
Supposedly my target is second place, but Hisashi, he catch me in the last 1 kilometer, I think.
Yeah. You run a very aggressive race, yeah? Already in the halfway, you caught up with the Nepalese runners and John Ray, who was at that time still in the leading group. You caught up with them, and then you passed them. You overtook them. You were first in aid station 4. But what happened then when Jeff Campbell went? He
I
went
see
just too fast, or
in station 10.
yeah?
I see Jeff Campbell, but I feel my so tight.
Yeah.
I can run fast.
Yeah.
All the way is walking.
Yeah. Well, you can look back on a fantastic race, Arnie. I think a lot of people will now really see you as an established top runner in Asia. So big congratulations.
Thank you.
Christine Salazar. Also John Ray Onifa is here. Here we have Christian Jorgensen. He also DNF. John Ray DNF at 8 station 6, with the same place here. So that's where they quit. Yeah, they're comparing their times. They finished in just under 10 hours for 80k. It turned out to be 80k.
2 minutes.
Yeah, it was only 2 minutes and a bit or something like that.
Seconds.
It was 6 minutes difference at last checkpoint.
That was 5k to go. Yeah, the last check was 5k to go. It was still 6 minutes. So
Hisashi, what was the race where you and John Ellis, was it you and John Ellis that were racing each other down into the last? I think was this the final like 3 years ago?
no, it was Ultra Trail Chiang Rai in Thailand.
Chiang Rai.
115 kilometers something, where they went head to head for like 60 kilometers.
Yeah, and you were neck and neck, and you were like, "Hey, I'm a 2:30 marathon runner. Like this is going to hurt you," and the two of you once again so close. What is it with T8 runners?
Yeah, very strong. But I didn't expect that I could catch up. But at least I want to push, because every time I join TMBT, I lose my energy last uphill. So I strongly decided I never walk here. So I walk through, run through. And there I found the Macaneras, the last 2 km. And I passed, and I pushed again, because I decided never walk, and I could get closer to the gym.
So this was obviously your strategy for today, Hisashi. The last 10 kilometers going all in.
Yeah.
But were you concerned then in the beginning with these Nepalese runners who went so fast together with Stingray? Because there was quite a big gap immediately, right? Together with Alessandro Sherpa, and you were quite far behind. So.
I have my time schedule, so even my time schedule is faster than my schedule. It's like 9:30 or something. So I didn't worry, because they are too fast. I knew it.
Okay. With all the experience you have here at TMBT, and this is now your fourth second place in TMBT, and unfortunately you never won, so it means you still have to come back. Well done, Hisashi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have 3 runs in the finish. We just see Tara Savage coming in here. We also saw Regin James a few minutes ago. She was also running in the frame, as you could have seen. So these are the female runners who still have one small loop to do of 26k. Tara Savage, the American, living in Bangkok. And while we are going live, we also see Mary Joyce Sumunda coming up. Mary Joyce Sumunda therefore has lost a little bit of terrain because also Shamira, I think, has been here in the meantime. That's what I heard, at least in the microphone. So Mary Joyce Sumunda was running together with Shamira and Regelin earlier on, but now is fallen a little bit further back. You can still see Regelin and Mary Joy in the same picture. But nevertheless, for Mary Joy, so far, this has been an excellent run. I think she's the first Filipino. Having focused on Campbell and Kitamura and Macaneras, lost a little bit of track, but water is there and backdrop there. So Mary Joy Sumunda started the race very well. She's in a sense a teammate of Hisashi Kitamura, Yuglo, Philippines. And while we're at it, there's this Isaiah Paraiso who also just reloaded himself here at aid station 6. He still has 28 kilometers to go. Kixuelo has been doing really well, actually. He's the second Filipino on the course, followed by JV Kaketin.
Yeah, you can really just slam your feet.
Yeah. Stingray, John Ray. So for all the Filipino fans today, you DNF'd here at aid station 6 a few hours ago. What exactly happened for you?
I have some feelings in my body, and then I cannot manage, and then that's why I withdraw. Maybe next year I will come back again.
Hopefully, it would be nice to see you again.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jeff Campbell as the new champion, as your successor?
Yeah.
You know him very well.
Yeah, I know very well. Yeah.
Are you surprised that he won this race?
Sorry?
Are you surprised that he won today 80 kilometers TMBT?
Jeff?
Yeah.
No.
You're not surprised? Okay.
I know he will want to manage because he's strong too.
Yeah. But he used to be a short distance runner, right, for many years in Hong Kong, and he's only like the last 2 years he's moving up in distance. So anyway, John Ray, good to see you. Thanks for sharing a few words, and hopefully indeed see you again next year. Cheers. And here we have Christian Jurgensen. Sorry to interrupt. Christian Jurgensen, also DNF, which also surprised a lot of viewers today. There's dozens of thousands of people watching, asking, what happened to Christian. So maybe you can just briefly also.
Nothing happens.
But it was also your wisdom tooth and a combination of factors, right? Or not? No? Okay.
Not really. It's just I'm smashed. My body needs to rest. I need to recover.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Okay.
That's like no excuses. My body just said stop. I couldn't say it anymore.
All right. Thank you very much for this short. So Christian Jurgensen. Also, hopefully you'll be back next year, of course. So just like Jeff Campbell. I mean, you've been around even longer than Jeff Campbell. Yeah, since 2016, I believe you were already taking part in Asia Trailmaster races like Miss Astilla in Indonesia. So you've been longer at it than Jeff, and Jeff became champion now, and you've also just crossed Tram 4 as we discussed earlier. So inspiration, perhaps. Yeah. Thanks, Christian. David Longo, also DNF today.
Yeah. Again, not really any excuses on my side. Just this wasn't my day. It was an amazing event. The course was really well marked, beautiful course. I mean, there was quite a bit of storms leading up to the event yesterday, and the event did really well to remark the course quite literally overnight. They tried to keep it on the trail, from what I understand. Like, they spent most of the night trying to find a nice trail route, but in the end, unfortunately, they had to reroute a lot of it onto the roads, which increased the distance by I think about 7 or over 7k, and then just a lot of road, which I think played with a lot of people's heads. At least it did for me, and just this wasn't my day, I think. But otherwise no excuses really.
All right, thanks a lot, David, for this short comment. Right, so I think it will still be a while before the number 4 will come into the finish. That should be Milton Amat, who was never really into the game except for a brief moment at aid station 4 this morning. You can watch the videos there. There Milton suddenly looked the part. He was also there with Macaneras, and he looked like he was going to feature in this race, but it never really happened. So Milton Amat never was able to challenge Jeff Campbell, Macaneras, Kitamura, and also the young Nepalese runner Milan Rai, who unfortunately has also now dropped down the leaderboard, mainly due to inexperience, I would say. He's he's very young, so really great that they are here to test themselves on this kind of distance and in this field, Asian field, to see how they fare against the other Asian runners. With that being said, I think I'm going to close this stream so that we can come back with a fresh stream as soon as more runners coming to the finish, and especially, of course, the women's winner, the new women's champion, excuse me, and that is most likely going to be Priya Rai from Nepal, which I'm also quite pleased about, because that was my pick. Kitamura was my pick for the men's race, so failed it by 2 minutes. But Priya Rai is about to win the women's race. It would be very surprising if she still breaks down. We have we have Julia Morales just also passing through here. She had a bad fall, she says, Julianne. Yeah, she's been a bit off the pace, even though now she's coming closer to Mary Joyce Sumanda, and I don't think Shelley Yusun has already been here. Maybe I checked with Christine on that one. Christine, has Shelley Yusun already come here?
No,
not yet.
So Julie is the second.
Second, yeah. So actually, then she is moving up the leaderboard.
Yes.
Despite having had a fall, and she is not wasting any time, and immediately continues. That's the spirit, because the team championship is still on the line for Philippines. Okay, she makes a detour to the aid station. So great performance by Arnie Macaneras today, Christine. Third place at least is on the classic podium, so he will be forever remembered for that third place also in our history books. He was looking good for the win, right? Like half an hour ago, or let's say half an hour before the finish line, and that was a bit surprising as well, because we have thought, when he came in for aid station 6, that he was beginning to find it a bit hard. To keep up the pace, but some of the fans actually were commenting on that on Facebook. Thank you very much, fans. So I mean, I'm glad that I was proven wrong. Arnie still had another gear. So of course, all respect for Arnie Macaneras. He's been very, very convincing in the last 2-3 seasons now with ATM, starting with his championship-winning title on Mount Apple. Yeah, so he's sitting there in the background. And he still seems quite fit as well. I mean, it doesn't look like he's really destroyed.
Yes. It looks like he can run another 20k.
Correct. So I think we have definitely not seen the last of Arnie Macaneras in the competitive trail scene here in Asia, and maybe a little bit more. Who knows? Yeah. Right. As I said, I'm going to close this one now, and we'll be back with more updates as soon as the first woman comes in. And maybe I just still mention that Priya Rai is leading, but she's like 40 minutes ahead of Vanya Knops, and Rashida Tamang, the defending champion, is struggling a bit with a minor injury apparently. But she's still in third place, but is being chased by, amongst others, Loi Lung, and also the Korean runner is making up some ground, and who knows, also Akane Nimoto can still feature, and also Padam Kumari is still in the mix for podium, but she's been going down the leaderboard a little bit, so let's see if she can turn it around in the last 28 kilometers. And these are our great series sponsors of season 9, of course led by T8, Scott and NAC, but also we are very grateful to a New Halle Physiotape, what Rashila actually needs today, Gone Running Store, Sportlicious Malaysia, Ferre Headlamps, Mute customization partner. We have Xenon Poles, our favorite trekking poles, Oli Athletic, Uglo and Tribo Pacaras, also for sponsoring the ATM final with their great products. Alright, and that's it. We'll be back soon with more updates from Sabah, Malaysia. And as one of the Vietnamese runners is just coming in here to the aid station, we'll just close our broadcast with this view. With BIP 25, I believe that is Kien. Apologies if it's Tran. Well done. Alright, Team Vietnam, sponsored by Mute Sports, the brand and the coaching team behind Hauha, our champion 2 years ago, who had a wild card, but I think wisely decided not to come here because this is no longer her territory, right? The Asian scene. She is now a full-time world-class runner. Okay, we'll be back soon with more from Borneo TMBT.